Hare Sankirtan ki Jai Gaur Premanande. Screen visible? Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama-shloke Bhakti Pravati Neshiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopal Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, second canto, first chapter, text number 11. Etan nirvid. No? Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Yoginam nrapanirnitam.
Yoginam nirvanirnitam.
Harer namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Yoginam nrapanirnitam.
Yoginam nirvanirnitam.
Harer namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Yoginam nrapanirnitam.
Yoginam nirvanirnitam.
Hare namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Anybody like to recite?
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Etan nirvidyamananam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Ichchatam akuto bhayam.
Yoginam nirvanirnitam.
Yoginam nirvanirnitam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Hare Namanukirtanam.
Mataji's?
Etan nirvidyamananam. Ichchatam akuto bhayam. Yoginam nirvanirnitam. Hare Namanukirtanam.
Translation. O King, constant chanting of the holy names of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by the dint of transcendental knowledge. Purport. In the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been credited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists, who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord who neither aspire to enjoy material world nor desire to get out of it. They are after the satisfaction of the Lord, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. In other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities, and if the Lord does not desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied, because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. In this verse, Śukadeva Gosvāmī recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy names of the Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord and then with the attributes of the Lord, and then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes. So in Guruvashtami, when we sing in the morning, Shri Radhika Madhava Yovarapara Madhurya Leela Guna Rupa Nama. So same thing is mentioned here. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from authorities is the first essential. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, his attributes, his pastimes, and so on, and thus the necessity of the chanting of his glories develops successively. This process of recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him but also by all previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need for further evidence. The process is recommended not only for progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievements as productive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, and it should be performed offenselessly as well, as recommended in the Padma Purāṇa. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself to the Lord. One can deliver himself from all offences at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But one cannot protect himself if one commits an offence at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offences are mentioned in the Padma Purāṇa as being 10 in number. So the purport continues, which we will keep as quiz at the end of this session. We will start with the prayers. Madhyānāt Mirandasya Jnānjanāśāya Chakshurmīlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Vadamayam Dadāti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahajanata Sri Shakamadhyamscha Namo Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Sarane. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to the Sunday morning Bhagavatam class. So do we already have started this principle of chanting the shloka 3 times, audience 3 times? It has already started, right? So today's discussion, actually I was called 4 or 5 days back by Asacharya and he said to take this session. And he said the topic is art of chanting Hare Krishna. So in English there is this concept called oxymoron. Oxymoron means two opposites in the same sentence. Like he is a brilliant fool. So he is a brilliant or he is a fool? How can he be a brilliant fool? Or that is a cowardly brave act. So how can I have same sentence, same two opposites in the same sentence? So I was thinking, it is very similar to today's situation. The art of chanting Hare Krishna by Vrindavan Gopal Das. Two exact opposite in the same sentence. But somehow by mercy of devotees, by mercy of Krishna, I got opportunities to hear, to get association of so many senior devotees in the last 14 years. Actually, we were at the very right time. I, Vyasacharya Guru, Krishna Guru, we are all in our teens, 18s when we came in touch with devotees. That is a time, especially in engineering college, that's a time when people get distracted a lot. So before we could get distracted, devotees caught us by our hair and pulled us into Krishna consciousness. So last 14 years, whatever I've heard from devotees, whatever, and it's actually a reminder for us also. Because Prabhupada himself said that Krishna consciousness is so simple, you'll almost miss it. It is so simple. So that's why it's important for us to keep reminding again and again about especially the glories of the holy name. Because if you see what does Hare Krishna Mahamantra contain, Hare Krishna Ram, that's it. And just you arrange it in particular order, and then you have to chant 16 rounds every day, and then sometimes Ekadashi comes 64 we target, and the goal of life is to, like Prabhupada asked, what is the goal of chanting Hare Krishna? Chant more Hare Krishna. So for us to reach that stage, now we are all young, or whatever age we are in, middle age or whatever. But imagine at 50, 55, 60, 65, at that stage, when all our responsibilities are taken care of. Right now our concern is we have to make money, we have to, like Pastor Guru says an example. Brahmacharya ashram is about learn and grow. Grihastha ashram is earn and engage. Vanaprastha ashram is attach and detach. And sannyasa ashram is pray and prepare. Right. So currently our focus is earn and engage. Let's assume for the next 20-30 years we earn a lot, and we have settled our children also, and there is enough corpus for 2-3 generations, what to speak of us. So in the process of making that, on a daily basis, if we have not invested in chanting Hare Krishna, then at 60 we have enough corpus to retire, but there is no desire to retire. Because that habit is not there. We have not created that habit, we have not cultivated that habit. So just like in finance we have this principle, whenever someone wants to invest his money, his salary, so there are two options for that person generally. One is equity and one is bonds. Equity is considered risky, bond is considered safe. So it is said how much to invest. Suppose a person has 100 rupees. So how much to invest in equity, how much to invest in share. So whatever is the person's age, 100 minus that, say suppose a person is 25 years old. 100 minus that is 75. 75 rupees you invest in equity. You can take risk, you are young as of now. And 25 rupees you invest in bonds. And as you grow older and older, that whole proportion changes. By the time you are 50, 50 instead of 50. By the time you are 75, 25 in equity and 75 in bonds. So similarly in Krishna consciousness, currently we are now we are busy in engage and earn. So we have our basic minimum 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 16 rounds especially. We focus on that. But as we grow, one devotee was telling me in my engineering, he said he was working at that time, senior devotee. He said, Prabhu, if every year we increase 1 round, 16 this year, next year 17, but every day you have to chant 17 rounds. The next year 18 rounds, 19 rounds. So by the time I retire, I will be chanting 64 rounds every day. So it's a very interesting thought process. So today's discussion is also going to be on a very similar topic. Actually, I'm not able to see the screen. I hope you are able to see. You are able to see the full screen or the presentation mode? Okay. So today we will be discussing on the different aspects which can actually affect our Krishna consciousness. Although many times we feel that chanting is an activity we sit and do in a place, but whatever we have done in our 22 hours is going to impact the 2 hours which we sit and chant. Rather, I heard one devotee saying 9 to 9 principle. If you want, whatever we do from night 9 to morning 9, we'll decide how we will do our next morning 9 to night 9. So night 9 generally 9:30 devotees, this devotee is brahmacharis. 9:30 brahmacharis go to sleep, get up at 3:30. Then Mangalarti, 16 rounds chanting, Bhagvatam class, Guru Puja. By the time it's over, it is 9 o'clock in the morning. So you are fully equipped to deal with the world outside. So Mahamanusmara Yudyasha. So today there are so many factors which we will be discussing today. So today's agenda is we will be seeing our relationship with first the living entities in this world. We are dealing with all type of living entities, and we will be seeing different categories and how to behave with them. Second is our relationship with the scriptures. And third is our relationship with our buddhi, our own intelligence, our conviction. So we will go one by one. So first is, which is the first one today? We've got a lot of interactive things. What is the first category? Our relationship with? So one of the important jivas in our life is our devotees. Right? Actually, in Bhagvatam, there is this verse by Parishit Maharaj, Vayam Danyatama Loke Gurur Apshatra Bandavaha Vayam Pibanto Muhustattva Punya Krishna Kathamritam. Oh my Lord, my spiritual master, although we are lowest of Kshatriyas, we are glorified and benefited because we have the opportunity to always hear from you the nectar of the pious activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In a class for this verse, Prabhupada explains who is Dhanya, Dhanyatama, Dhanyatara, Dhanyatama. Fortunate, most fortunate. So who is fortunate? Actually, I came across a Chanakya shloka. He said in that, if someone is forced to leave the place where he was born and go to some other place for occupation, that is a reaction of a sinful karma. So imagine most of us, how many are born and brought up in Bangalore here? One Mataji. That she is the pious great soul. And what to speak of crossing the ocean and going abroad? Unfortunately, that is completely turned upside down. People are going abroad, they are considered to be fortunate. But what Bhagavatam says, anyone who gets association of devotees is fortunate. He or she is fortunate. Anyone coming for the first time today to the class, to the center? Okay. So suppose someone gets the association of devotees, that is fortunate. So that is Dhanya. What is Dhanya Tara? What is more fortunate? Somebody gets to hear in the association of devotees. Which means, suppose someone comes during Prasadam time. So yeah, devotees are there, they are talking and they get association. But they miss the class. So they are fortunate or more fortunate?
More fortunate.
So those who missed the class and came for Prasad, they are fortunate or more fortunate? Fortunate. We have one of our devotees was preaching in one medical college in Mumbai. And he would say that I've been preaching there for decades. 5-6 people would come for class. Prasadam 50 people. And there have been cases where in the middle of the class people open the door and say, not yet 4, jaldi khatam karo usko. I will take Prasad. So that is fortunate. Where a person gets association of devotees, more fortunate is
Hearing
hearing in association of devotees. Who is most fortunate? When who gets Prasad after the class?
Takes to the path.
Yes, Mataji?
Takes to the path of spirituality.
Take to the path of spirituality, which basically means one who gets to repeatedly hear in the association of devotees, that person is most fortunate. Which is all of you actually here. And that's what he is also saying here. Because I am always hearing from you the nectar of the pious activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, if you see, there are 3 categories of dealings we can do. One is we can deal with the sound, we can deal with the paraphernalia of the Lord, and we can deal with the special paraphernalia of the Lord. So we are dealing with the sound, say for example chanting, Bhagavatam class, Kirtan. If you commit offenses, like offenses in this, you are not attentive enough, there will not be much reaction to that. If there are reactions, we would not be here chanting for what decade for all these years, because distractions are so much. If we are doing some service, dealing with paraphernalia, means doing some service, Mantradangam, Kartal, books distribution. So there if you make some offenses, you drop the books, or say someone keeps the Mridangam on the floor, someone drops Kartal, that is also an offense. So for that also not much reaction comes, unless we did some powerful mistakes, heavy expensive mistakes. But if you make offenses while dealing with a special paraphernalia of the Lord, which is the devotees, immediately you get the reaction. Right? So that, and even within devotees, there may be some devotees saying that Prabhuji complaint has come about you and you are rash with devotees, or you have been very strongly speaking with devotees or offending devotees, then naturally reaction comes very quickly. So here we see that even Durvasa Muni, someone who could go all the way to Vishnu on this planet, on this universe, he also could not actually save himself. So he offended Ambarish Maharaj. And then first he went to Brahmaji or Indra. First he went in hierarchy. First he went to Indra. Indra said, I can't do it. 5-6 times I only have to keep it. Govardhan Leela I made a mess up, and then I offended and we'll discuss about further mistakes which he has done. So Indra says, I can't. Then he goes to Lord Shiva. I heard one devotee was saying when Lord Shiva he went there, Sudarshan was following him all the way. Sudarshan is very fiery also. Shiva said, I also can't. And please go fast because where is Lord Shiva sitting? In Himalayas. This ice is melting. Go fast. So then from there he went to Brahma. Brahma also said syntax error. I can't help. This is beyond my capacity. And from there he goes to Vishnu. You can imagine he goes to Vaikuntha. There is like Shiradaksha Vishnu. There is a earthly. Every universe has one Vaikuntha planet also. He goes there. And then Lord Vishnu, he says, I also can't do. And this is the verse he mentions. Sadhavardayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyantena janati naham tebhyo manadu. The pure devotee is always within my core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotees. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. So this theme we will see constantly repeating again and again and again. In Mahabharata also, the Jayadratha pastime, 13th day of Mahabharata. That is something which has to be discussed. I think if the Pandu Ekadashi falls on a Sunday, then that's the best pastime to discuss. Because that's when I came across it for the first time. So I was today also, it's a beautiful weather here. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to somehow develop good Krishna conscious memories. Because when the testing time comes, we'll all be tested, and one who speaks more will be tested more also. So I will get blessings also. So when we'll all be tested, that time how mind will be testing us? Mind will give us temptation, reminds us, hey, this is so much fun and this is so much nice, let's do it. So that time if we have an alternate Krishna conscious memory, it becomes easy to deal. So I also remember the first time I was just coming to Krishna consciousness, chanting for 1 or 2 rounds, and suddenly one day I get a call saying that exams are over for all of you. So we have one center nearby, some program is there, please come. So it had rained very heavily, it was about 7 o'clock in the evening, the road was wet, that smell of rain is there. And then we went, caught an auto with 4 of our college devotees, we went to one center. And whatever, it was like a hall basically, there was a small lamination of Krishna. And the moment we went there, because of the rain, the power went off. Pitch black, except for the lamps that time. And one Mataji, so there are devotees like this, one Mataji was doing Kirtan. And it was amazing. I didn't even know who that Mataji is to this day. But I can never forget. So such small memories when we try to collect. When the time goes wrong, right, those memories actually will help us to deal with it. So here also, Krishna is saying, if you see Mahabharata Jayadratha pastime is there, then whole Bhagavatam is filled with, one devotee was saying, after reading Bhagavatam, the conclusion that I came to was, don't mess with Krishna's devotees. That was his conclusion. Be it the Vrindavan pastime, Ajamila pastime also. Although he was not devotee, we'll discuss about him also in today's class. So now sometimes it may appear that Prabhuji, okay, these are all great personalities and in Bhagavatam we can worship them. But amongst us there may be sometimes devotees who may not fit our standard of who a great devotee should or who a devotee should be. Like in 1970s, when Prabhupada was, there was one ISKCON temple in the US, where because at that time everyone was new and most of the people are hippies. So one such hippie, he was very much attached to the ISKCON temple, ISKCON temple. So what they would do, like our Bhavana Mataji has their book table, so like that there would be a book table in that ISKCON center, and there would be one person sitting there, long beard, most of the time drunk, hardly had any bath. He would sit there and he would take Krishna book, put it on his face and go to sleep. That was the advertisement he was doing of Prabhupada books. And people would, his name was Peter, but people would call him Crazy Peter. He was crazy, behaving or erratically. So devotees tolerated 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 weeks. But he would come regularly and do that. It's a special seva. So then devotees, the temple president wrote to Prabhupada, saying that we can't tolerate him anymore. Please give us the permission to kick him out of the temple. We'll tell him to leave. So Prabhupada replies. He says that, just like I am tolerating all of you, you tolerate him. Right. And then, so the interesting thing is, because he was in the association of devotees, because he was hearing Kirtan, Prasad, whatever it was, eventually he got purified. Sab dadi wadi chala gaya. Drugs, of course, what to speak of all of that. He became His Grace Kushakrit Prabhu. Eventually, he translated many of the Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami books into English. So we never know. We never know which devotee is going to be. That is the reason many times you may feel that I came to spiritual life 14 years back and that devotee came 14 days back. From our current perspective. And it may be true. I came to spiritual life 14 years back, he came 14 lifetimes back. Right? And this life is just waiting for some connection and then immediately will be fired up. Right? And then I will be fired out because I offended him thinking that he's a naya banda. Right? So that's why in so one of the classes, so most of the thing I'll be sharing today will be from what I've heard from senior devotees. So you may hear this phrase multiple times, one of the classes, one devotee, I'll be quoting and everything. Although interestingly in the association of devotees, it is considered a good thing to quote. But in the outside world, if you quote like that, people will say you don't have your own experiences. You are just blindly following some scripture. Right? That's why I am happy to speak more in the association of devotees than outside. Because there we have to really cook up stuff. So, Gopal Maharaj. Who's Gopal Maharaj in the scriptures? He's Dasharatha Maharaj's friend. So, Dasharatha Maharaj is daughter also. Her name? Shanta. So, he gave, as a friendship, he actually donated, or I would say, donated his daughter to, again, these are very sensitive subjects in today's world. Anyway, coming back to our discussion. So, in ISKCON we have one Gopal Maharaj. Prabhupada disciple. So he was giving class. In the class he mentioned two things. I very clearly remember. One is with the Jīva Gosvāmī. In this Sandarbha is written. Two things he mentioned. One is about Bharat Maharaj. So we all know the pastime of Bharat Maharaj. How he went to forest. He was performing tapasya and then he saw the deer and that deer became dear to him. And then after that, because of that, he had to take one more birth as a deer and then one more birth as Jada Brother. So although it was his negligence of distraction that we got distracted. But Jīva Gosvāmī also says that there is some amount of offense from the previous life also which played that role. So for him to get attracted to that particular deer, some amount of offense was there in the previous life also. And he also then further said, he read one particular statistic. Jīva Gosvāmī gave a statistic. And after reading the statistics, he was a little concerned, confused. What kind of a number is this? Then he spoke to another Prabhupada disciple, his god brother, who was no longer in spiritual life. So he asked him, why is it that you are not, what inspired you, or not inspired, what made you leave association of devotees? He said, I don't remember much of it. This was like 30-40 years back here, 20 years back here in Jivana. So I don't remember much of what actually happened. But I do remember going to Vrindavan once. And these are like Western devotees. So he went to Vrindavan and they may not know the art of bargaining, which is ingrained in especially Matajis of our country. That is not there. Even I have tough time doing that. So he went to Vrindavan and then he took an order. He knew, someone had told him, from Mathura station to Vrindavan, 150 rupees or whatever, or 100 rupees. He sat in the auto, he went all the way to ISKCON temple, ISKCON Balram, Krishna Balram Mandir. He got down and that person was asking for 500 rupees. And there was a heated argument between the two. And he was also not budging an inch. So he said, this is what I am giving, take. So that Vrindavan auto wala, he felt so offended, he took that Lakshmi, threw it on the ground and he left. So that is the only instance he remembered. After that he doesn't remember anything. And he said, after that I am not even able to chant the holy names. Right. So the statistic is this, which Prabhuji was telling. Jīva Gosvāmī has mentioned, if you commit 100 offenses to devotees, our mind will wander while chanting. So I think most of us are going to appreciate this aspect. 1,000 offenses, we will find difficulty in chanting. Which means our perspective towards chanting will be, chanting is repeating. Oh God, 8 rounds, 6 rounds. Like there was one yatra in which one of our brahmacharis and so yatras like in rooms there is like multiple sharing rooms. This is very old. So a brahmachari and one youth boy were actually in one room. So whole day yatra, it was very amazing. Morning program, evening kirtan, then class for 2-3 hours. So after the class, after everything was done, Prabhuji went to dinner and then went to his room. This roommate, the youth boy, he seemed to be very angry and frustrated. So he said, what happened? Today was amazing day, amazing kirtan class. Why you look sad, upset? He said, Prabhuji, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm 10 rounds are remaining. I am wondering who brought me to Krishna consciousness. Right. So many times people feel that chanting becomes difficult. The perspective of chanting is it's a burden. It's painful. And why is that especially? Because every other aspect of Krishna consciousness, there is a possibility of sense gratification. someone is doing kirtan, we don't know that person is focusing on the holy name or the tune. If someone is dancing kirtan, what is he focusing on? The steps or the holy name? Prasad, to forget it. There is no. It's very difficult to know. And deity worship also, don't know. Person is doing deity worship. He is doing it because to show off that how nicely I am doing deity worship or how nicely I am moving my arms, and suppose he has made some body build. There is one brahmachari like that who did body and muscles, triceps and everything. He would wear uttari and he would. So with that, naturally devotees went and told Prabhuji, we came to take darshan of deities. So are we doing that? If we are reading scripture, are we reading it because of as a move to service or because we want some new information? So there is possibility of sense gratification in all of this, but the most difficult aspect is chanting, because there is no possibility of sense gratification. Except one case where a person goes to a secluded place and wants the adoration of being a very great devotee. And that is very rare nowadays in our circumstances also. So 1000 offenses, it's difficult to chant, and 10,000 offenses, you will not be able to chant the holy name, not come only out of them. So this is the example that Maharaj gave. And it's interesting because when I was working in Baroda for 1 year, I had gone there in 2015. So there is an ISKCON temple there, and just 100 feet away is a base where we used to stay. So it was Radhashtami afternoon, and Gujarat is very hot during summers. So after and prasadam was on the floor outside the temple because the temple was full. So we took prasadam and then we reached back, and I went there. And I was surprised because although we say hippies, Prabhupada, International Society, I don't know how many of us have interacted with a Western devotee. Anyone here? How many have interacted? I see very few. So for me it was the first time. So I went and met that devotee. He was a devotee, brahmachari was sitting, saffron, and he was from Italy. So he was very white skinned, and because of the hot sun he had become pink also. So pink body in a saffron cloth. So I was really intrigued. I went to him and I asked him, spoke to him. And his Hindi was so immaculate. I could not believe. I was getting culture shock in India only. Parantu, kintu, paryapta. I was not able to understand what is the meaning of these words also. So then he had not taken prasadam. Then he was completely bewildered because of the heat of the place. Then we gave him some prasad. He was there for 2-3 days. Then naturally one obvious question which we ask whenever we meet devotees is, how you came to Krishna consciousness? So then he told me, I'll not tell the name of that devotee because of what I'm going to tell you now. So he was born and brought up in a farm in the countryside of Italy. So immediately my response was, oh, Prabhuji, you're taking care of cows. I said, yeah. So that's the problem. He said, we were farming cattle. So not taking care of the cows, but actually, cow meat. And he said that even from Italian standards, I was eating more of meat. Everyone would my other relatives would say, how much cow you eat? That was his situation. And then to do my college, I went to the city in Italy. And because now there are no parents around, alcohol, drugs doesn't mean cocaine, there are other type of drugs also. So he used to take drugs also, he was full freedom. And then one day, one book distributor came to him, and then he was in a hurry or something, so he said, okay, whatever, he takes some money, and he bought one on the way to Krishna. Took that book, kept it in a book car trunk, and then life went on. His birthday came. Birthday means double dhamaka. He did more alcohol, more drugs, especially when he took drugs. He was feeling a deep sense of loneliness and sadness. It was a night time. All friends were already in Samadhi. So he also wanted to go into Samadhi. So then by that time, he opened that book and he read that book. And after reading, so in that book there are points. In this world, no matter what we do, we cannot be happy. We are trying to extract happiness out of this body. Just like sugar cane is extracted, sugar is out of fish. So reading all of that, his heart got transformed. Then from there he went to ISKCON temple. So what he said was interesting. He said he went to the ISKCON temple, and in any ISKCON temple, what is the biggest thing in the ISKCON temple? That is while eating. But visibly, what is the biggest thing? Deities. He said, I never saw the deities. I never felt that there is a deity altar only in the first place. He went to ISKCON temple, and there he met devotees, and devotees told him, would you like to take prasad? So they fed him nice prasad. After prasad, they said, would you like some special service, special mercy? He said, why not? After prasad, what special will be? They make some special sweet. They said, clean the temple hall. So temple hall was not like our temple hall. It was wood only, but uneven wood. So a lot of dust were stuck and everything. And devotees told him that the more you clean the temple of the Lord, the more your heart gets purified. And then with every Every square inch he was taking 10 minutes to clean properly. And after cleaning the whole temple hall, when he came to the end of the temple hall, then he realized there is an altar also here, which is there in front. So he said that because whatever my sinful reactions of eating so much cow for so many years, I had to get purified first through association of devotees, then appreciate that there is Krishna also here. So in US also there was one devotee, one person actually. He was living with 20 of his friends in one PG, something like a PG, like apartment. Each of these 20 people had a dog also. So 20 plus 20, dogs, animals, I live with people. And they had a principle. We will never wash vessels and keep. Whatever you want, you go to sink, whatever is kept there, take it out, wash that particular thing, cook, eat, throw it back. Then next person comes, if he wants any of the vessels, take it, and then I can already see the reactions of Mataji's faces. So that was their standard. So that person, one of that, he comes to ISKCON temple, and then again he's get fed prasad, and actually we don't know how they feel. See, because most of the time when we get prasad also, we have eaten puliyogare before. Okay, even if it is sweet, gulab jamun, halwa, we have taken, once after that we have taken it. But those people have never tasted these kind of delicacies. So when they take prasad, it's a different, they go into something called as sugar rush. Because and they start laughing uncontrollably. Many of them have told. So he took nice prasad. After prasad was over, devotee said, would you like to take some special mercy? He said, why not? Special mercy. And he said they took him to a DT kitchen. Huge vessels were there. He said, wash all of this. He was not able to understand, why should I wash this? Because in our home, we wash it only when required, right? So like that his cleaning started. Right? And that particular person is Danvir Maharaj. In ISKCON, correct. So anyway, coming back to our discussion here. So sometimes we need association of devotees to actually appreciate Krishna consciousness. Right? And so now how to deal with? This is Narada Muni's principle. So when it comes to association of devotees, there are three categories. Someone who's senior to us, someone who's equal to us, someone who's junior to us. One common principle we need for all of them is respect. No doubt about it. But apart from that, here Narada Muni says, Gunadikan mudam lipse anuprosho gunadamat maitrim samana danmichet nataper abhibhuyate. Every man should behave like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. Otherwise, generally what happens when we see someone more qualified than us? Envy, insecurity. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. What is the material perspective? Show superiority or disgust, bacha or whatever. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. But what happens in the material circles? We compete with that person. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries in this material world. I was reading one class, in that class Prabhuji was saying, one devotee was going, one brahmachari was going and giving class in one particular congregation like this. And class would be very nice and devotees also were very happy. But only thing is his kirtan would be like loudly chanting. Only one tune you would have, and you do kartal also, but then it would sound like loudly chanting the Hare Krishna. No tune as such. So 4 years went by like this. Then one devotee came and told Prabhuji, shall we have some variety now? 4 years, the same tune is going on. He said, I'm not a good kirtaniya actually. So this is what happens when people compare. If suppose someone is a kirtaniya, he'll have no problem with the good devotee. In all respects, Vanchakalpataru. But when he says another kirtaniya, then the competition starts. So this Prabhuji, he went to the temple and told one of the kirtaniya devotees, can you teach me some tunes? I'm not able to remember. He said, yes, why not? He taught him some wonderful 2-3 tunes. He said, you can do this. So he went next week, he said, now I'm ready to surprise everyone. He went there, he sat on the asana, started doing kirtan, same. No change. And again after the class, devotees came and said, Prabhuji, variety, where is that? We asked him, you said you will do some. Actually, I learned so much, but when I started doing kirtan, I forgot. The tune never came. So then again he went that day, went to the devotee who taught him kirtan, that tune, and said, actually Prabhuji, the problem is that you are forgetting the tune because you are not used to it. So what you do, the day you are going to give class, before you leave to the class, I will teach you a tune, constantly keep chanting that tune, all the way till the class location, so that there will be no breakage. So when he taught him a tune, he learned that tune and he was constantly singing that tune, in a low tone, All the way, he sat in the train everyone is in transcendental mode. He's chanting constantly, like doing kirtan and same tune he went. All the way, he came to the temple hall. He's like, chalo, I remember the tune even now. So, but before going to the asana, he saw there is Prabhupada, people obeisances. Namo Vishnupadaya, that tune broke. And then he sat on the class, asana, same. Right. So sometimes looking at devotees' abilities, talents, we may try to judge them. But here the idea is, anyone who's junior, be compassionate. Anyone who's senior, be pleased and take their association and try to please them. And third one is equals, try to make a friendship. So this is with respect to one type of jivas, that is the devotees around us. Another type of jivas which we deal with are the demigods. So we have how many demigods? 33 crore is the number given in the scriptures. Generally we come across demigods. Who are the demigods we come across? Shivratri is there, Lord Shiva. Then Ganesh Chaturthi, Hanuman. Hanuman is not considered as a devotee. So we have no problem with Hanuman. Many times ISKCON devotees have a problem with Indra, especially Indra, because in Bhagvatam is blasted so much. So devotees also have, they say that. That's why my spiritual master also says Indra is also a great devotee. And Krishna has used him to teach us lesson. So let us not offend him also. Because we are now practicing devotional service. Suppose we don't perfect our life in this. What happens to us? What happens? Suppose someone doesn't complete in this life, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Vrashtu Vijayate. He goes to Ushitva Shashvati Sama, goes to a heavenly planet and stays there for a long time. So imagine Indra there waiting for you. Right, Aja, what is the classes you give? Come. I'll put you in a nice, wonderful department here. So here, similarly, Indra is one, Ganeshji. Then we have Lord Shiva, Durga, yes, because see, generally whatever is being celebrated, that's where these demigods come across us. So Durga Puja happens during Navratri, Shivratri, Ganesh Chaturthi. So how do we deal with them is also important. A neophyte understanding is all or nothing. Either we treat them equal to God, equal to Krishna, we have no understanding of what is what, or we treat them like, oh, I know now. Ganesh is not the supreme God. So we just ignore or we don't. Prabhupada has asked this question. So what happened is, okay, before I go to that. So just like a constable. A police constable is not a police commissioner. At the same time, he is not an ordinary person also. So how you deal with them is how you respect the government of the country. So if there is a demigod, he has been appointed by Krishna himself. And Lord Vishnu has taken so much trouble to save these demigods, time and again. So we need to respect. At the same time, we cannot equate them to Supreme Lord also. And if you see in Bhagavatam 2nd canto, which we are discussing now, boy Narada we know, who was Bhaktivedanta associated, and then in that life when he left his body, he was born as Brahma's son. The first thing he asks is, are you the Supreme Lord? I don't see anyone above you. You seem to be the controller of everything. And Brahma then immediately says, no, I am not the Supreme Controller. Then the whole sloka set. So that is the balanced understanding. Neophyte means, one definition I heard from Radheshyam Prabhu is fight, neophyte. Neophyte devotees fight a lot. Another explanation is we take extremes. So it's very difficult to keep balanced. And that's why if you see YouTube, social media, they are all about extremes. Anyone gives a balanced understanding, he'll have 2-3 views. When anyone gives extreme views, then they'll have a lot of views and a lot of engagement. So in US, when devotees are distributing books, they came across a very interesting way of distributing books called Radha Damodar Bus Park. So there would be buses which devotees have bought, and then they would go from city to city to city, no one temple for them. City to city to city, and then recruit brahmacharis also and distribute books also. So one such devotee, he came across one of the Acharya's literature he had read, that time there are not much books available anyway. He had read that Rupa Gosvāmī has written that devotees can actually worship Lord Ganesh to remove obstacles from their path. That one statement is there by Rupa Gosvāmī. And one devotee tried it. He bought some small Ganesh murti and then he was worshipping it, and book distribution went up. He felt it's amazing how book distribution. Then he tried second day, third day, it went very well. So then he thought, let me ask Prabhupada also. Because Paramatma gives indication. Something is not right, let me take permission and then do it. Then he writes a letter to Prabhupada saying that Rupa Gosvāmī has, and then it's very easy to quote, your boss has said it is allowed. So Rupa Gosvāmī has said, so then we are wondering, can we worship Ganesh? Then what Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said that actually for us, we can worship Ganesh or we can worship Nrsimhadev, from whom Ganesh gets his power also. So Prabhupada thought maybe that should not be enough. Then Prabhupada said, still if you want to worship Lord Ganesh, absolutely no problem. Please go ahead, but make sure as a tax for doing that, you send $100,000 every month to BBT. Said Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai. So this is the example even in the ISKCON. And Prabhupada has asked, now how does a devotee deal with demigods? What is the devotee's perspective of Brahma? Demigods. Prabhupada said a devotee respects an ant also. What to speak of Brahma? Right. So our perspective here is balanced. We may not, and actually if you see within ISKCON also, when there are Ganesh Chaturthi, we take Ganesh Chaturthi class. So we explain who is Ganesh, Lord Ganesh, what is his position with respect to, what are his glories. And Lord Ganesh is especially important for us because of him we have the text form of Vedas. Right? When Vyasadeva wanted to convert Vedas from sound format to text format, from MP3 to PDF, he wanted someone who can actually write it. All demigods came in queue and said, it's a glorious service, no? Their name will be etched for the rest of the history, eternity. And then Vyasadeva said, okay, we have a filtering process, screening process. What is screening process? I want that person who will non-stop write. And I continue speaking and no asking second time. Just एक बार बोल दिया खत्म, no asking again. So he said that's first criteria. Then 90% of them went back. Lord Ganesh came forward and said, I have another condition. He said, if you are telling I should not stop, you should not stop speaking. That much faster you will write. Then Vyasadeva thought that this is a problem. Because I am structuring the entire Vedas, how to do it, and I need some time to think, okay, after this verse, which one? After this, which one? So, Vyasadeva also puts one condition. He says, I will non-stop write, as I speak, but you should not write anything unless you understand what I am saying. He said, done. Then we started writing. So, when they were writing, whenever Vyasadeva would feel, okay, I need some time to think, he would throw a complex verse at Ganesh. And Ganesh would think some time, okay, what does it mean? Then write it. By that time, Vyasadeva has actually structured the next set of verses. So for us, Ganesh ji, Indra, or for that matter, Brahma ji, actually Brahma ji for us is actually one of the Parampara Gurus. So there is a question of disrespect. So when we, like one of our devotees, he came to spiritual life very young and very enthusiastic. He went home, and in home there was Ganesh Puja. So after the Ganesh Puja was over, they gave him some prasad. This is not prasad of Krishna, right? It is prasad of course it is Iknoman and garlic. It's very sattvic also. It is not some sort of oil. Like Kali worship they have, they give flesh and everything. But this is the Ganesh Puja, they gave some little bit. But what he did, he took that prasad, he went out behind the event of the house and he threw it in the dustbin. And one relative saw it. And that led to Mahabharata. So this devotee was giving this class. He asked multiple gurus and multiple sannyasis what to do in that situation. So most of the gurus they said that, see, if you are taking prasadam for the most part, and it is not that you are wanting to eat it, but someone gives you that prasad, it's okay to honor it as a prasad of the deities. You can offer it mentally to like Lord Vishnu, and then you can accept it also. Like we have example of Chandidas. Chandidas was one person who was a devotee of Lord Kali, Chandi, and his brother, he was actually a devotee of Vishnu. And naturally Chandidas, because he was worshipping Kali, and he like Dhanandehi, Bharya Dehi, and then Palace Dehi, whatever, he asked for so much opulences, he was very rich. Vishnu devotee was not that rich, he was pretty poor. And every day he would go to temple. On the way to temple, he would ask one Chandidas that your garden is very beautiful, can I take some flowers and offer it to Vishnu? He said, no, these are only meant for my goddess. He said, okay, but then mentally he offered it to Vishnu. And then he went ahead. Then Chandidas comes, take those flowers and offers it to Kali, and then suddenly Kali appears. So today you have pleased me very much, ask whatever you want. He said, I have been worshipping you from so many days, you never showed me. So today what happened? He said, today you offered me the prasad of my husband's lord. Kali's or Durga's husband is Shiva, Shiva's master is Ram or Vishnu. So then Chandidas says, you never told me, you'll be pleased if I worship Vishnu. He said, you never asked me. You were busy asking for a car and bungalow, and you never asked me for. So this is the beauty. One of the roles of demigods is, if you cannot directly approach Krishna, you approach demigods, and when demigods see that you have become sufficiently purified, they will connect you directly to Krishna. This is with respect to dealing with demigods. No extreme stance. Respect them. That is, again, respect is a constant factor everywhere. Respect them for being a devotee, senior devotees. So when we see these personalities, we see them as senior devotees. Okay, one more jiva which we will be dealing with, and very, very important jiva for us, is the spiritual master. So again, respect is there, but here one more level is to not disobey the instructions of the spiritual master. Like in ISKCON Germany, when Prabhupada was there, the devotees had done a lot of amazing preaching, book distribution. The bank account of ISKCON Germany was growing in size. It was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And Prabhupada told him, see, you as a non-profit, also as an institution, spiritual institution, whenever you get Lakshmi, you spend it. Naturally, the tendency will be like, save that Lakshmi, make it big. From the interest of that Lakshmi, you can run the expenses of the temple, which is a very good idea. But then maybe Krishna wants us to live, a little more surrendered to him. Like in Vrindavan also, everything was peaceful until Krishna was born. Once Krishna was born, then demons came, Indra lost his school, Brahma also wanted to do some mischief, so many things happened. So Krishna is not straight standing, he's like bent three ways. Tribangal Likam, we call it. So that's why once Radhesham Prabhu, he went to another institution where they worship Lord Shiva. So he went there and it was perfectly managed. Amazing place, everything was going very smooth. He went to the guru, the main guru's ashram, and that ashram also was like given to the room, and the room was totally empty. Like chatais were there, that's it, no furniture also. Very renounced. He asked, because Radhesham Prabhu is the president of a temple and he knows what are the challenges. He said, how is it that you are able to manage everything so peaceful? Then that guru, he says, actually we worship Lord Shiva. He's Ashutosh. He's quickly pleased, he fulfills all desires, and he's also in a very Shant Mudra. Mostly Lord Shiva, if you see. He said, you are worshipping Krishna. He is not straight, he stayed up. 3 places he is bent. So wherever Lord Krishna is there, things are not going to go straight. That's why it's for your own purification. Right? So that is with respect to why, when it comes to Guru, following Guru. So then devotees, Prabhupada told devotees, whenever you get Lakshmi, immediately spend it for the people, for service to Krishna through book distribution, prasadam, and but then devotees thought, we will keep it as a corpus, it's a good amount. And then very soon, the German government saw that, hey, why are you keeping so much money? Money laundering is going on here. So then they took all that money. And that temple, and the Prabhupada told, see, I told you. So when we don't follow the instructions of, especially the spiritual master, see, there is a possibility that we can have some sort of discussions, and this is what I have heard. Whenever we are having like senior devotees, say for example our counselor, they come and say, Prabhuji, you should do this. There is a possibility that we can have discussion. Prabhuji, I feel this, like Narada Muni and Dhruv Maharaj. I can't, you are telling me, give up that hatred towards your mother and try to. Said, your instructions are great, but I am not a Brahman, I am a Kshatriya. I can't give it up so easily. And then he got up. But when it comes to spiritual master, it has to be taken with much more gravity and much more seriousness. Right? Similarly, in one Vaishnava Thakur, one bhajan is there, where we say, Eka ki amar, nai paye wala, harinam sankirtan. On our own, we cannot get the strength to do the harinam sankirtan. This doesn't mean physical association. Right? This actually means the strength to chant the holy names. So when we try to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, like say Radhesham Prabhu was sent 1 year he took brahmachari training in 1995, 1996 he was sent to Pune. And then imagine he's just 25 years old. He's a temple president now. So then he asked, that time there was no smartphone, nothing, no internet also properly. So he asked the spiritual master, I am in Pune, you are in Mumbai. Okay, it's a 3-hour distance, but still it's a significant distance. How do I know the decisions I am taking is right? I take so many decisions on a daily basis. So Maharaj told him, the spiritual master told him that if you are following the basic principles properly, morning program, regulative principles, and you are reading, hearing, chanting, then the decisions that you take whenever such crisis comes, that will be in line with what I would have taken, or what Guru wants you to take, or what Prabhupada would have wanted to take. Once you take the decision, then be ready for whatever comes as a return. Because sometimes we may make a mistake, we don't know. So whatever comes, we accept it as a mercy of Krishna. That is the third jiva, very empowered jiva though. It's very, I am afraid to call him a jiva also, the spiritual master. Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Right? But again, we don't want to get confused. Right? Guru is not God, but Guru has the power of the God. This is the third jiva. Another jiva that we will be dealing with is the faithless. Those who are not devotees, as we say. they come in two categories. One is ignorant, second is envious. So how to deal with them? Bhagavatam says, Ishwareta tadīneshu balisheshu dvisacchuja prema maitri kripa upeksha yakaroti samadhyama. So we are currently trying to be madhyamadhikaris. So Kanishtadhikari is someone who just feels that I am Krishna, that's it. I don't want a middleman. Guru nahi chahiye, devotee nahi chahiye. I just by worshipping Krishna I will become perfect. Uttamadhikari is already perfect. He also doesn't see non-devotees only. He feels that he is also a devotee of Krishna. And currently he is behaving like non-devotee because it is Krishna's plan. So why should I interfere with Krishna's plan? So he cannot preach also. He doesn't feel like preaching. And that's where Madhyamadhikari comes into. So he sees the distinction. So Ishvara, Prema, then Adineshu means non-devotees, like or the ignorant. For them, Kripa, Balisheshu, Dvishachu is envious. With them you keep a distance. So with ignorant we try to be compassionate, we try to preach. With envious we maintain a distance, respectful distance. Like last week was Narasimha Chaturdashi. So there is a pastime in which generally if you see Prabhupada, if you read Prabhupada books, Prabhupada is very strong towards Mayavadis. The reason for that is Mayavadis in one sense are actually envious of the Supreme Lord. So one of the major acharyas, controversial acharya actually, is Shankaracharya. Controversial why? Because he is personally a devotee, but he has come to speak Vedas in a way which can be misinterpreted as Mayavad. So in this parampara there is one particular disciple called as Padma Purāṇa. So he goes to the forest and he says, I want to take darshan of Lord Narasimha. And he sits and starts doing meditation for a long time, many months, many years pass by. One fine day, one hunter comes there. And hunter comes and sees a sadhu. He pays obeisances. And he says, Sadhuji, what are you doing here? You are some so glorious to your association. He had that sense of respecting a sadhu. Sadhu says, actually I have come here to meet someone. I am trying to search for someone. And hunter says, this is my area. You tell me whom you want to search. I will find for you. And he didn't want to discuss much. He was like, I don't want to get distracted. At the same time, he is obedient also. He didn't want to offend him also. He said, no, nothing like that. I'll just leave it on me. He said, no, I want to serve you. Please tell me who are you searching for? He said, actually, I am searching for an animal. He wanted to explain in his terms. He said, animal, I am expert in that. That is my area of expertise. Tell me, what animal are you looking for? He said, that animal has a head of a lion, body of a man, he has claws also. He said, what kind of animal is there? I never heard of such an animal. He said, yeah, that's what I am looking for. He said, okay, I'll do one thing. I will make sure I'll get that animal. I'll search it for you. He said, no, do not do it. No, you are a great soul. I need to do service to you. He said, what to speak of finding it? I'll make sure by end of day I'll find it, otherwise I'll commit suicide. And the sadhu was like, what are you doing? This is my 4th, 5th year. And you are saying in one evening you'll find it. No, I will definitely find it. So he said, okay, but take care. He said, okay, fine, he goes. And he's searching, whole day pass by, cannot find it. Finally, what he does, he takes a rope, he ties on a tree. And he's about to jump and commit suicide. He says, if I cannot find that animal now, I'll just jump and commit suicide. When he's about to jump, Narasimha appears there. And he says, here I am. And then finally I got him. He goes down, takes that same rope, ties him with that rope. And like an animal only. And he catches him and he takes him to Padma Purāṇa. And he says, Swamiji, Guruji, come out of your hut. Say I have brought your animals. What? He comes out and he says, what he sees is he's standing there and the rope is hanging but he cannot see Narasimha there. Why? He himself has a tinge of Mayavad. Envy. Mayavad, he is under Shankara Sampradaya. But listening to him, he had full faith, that hunter had full faith in the words of the sadhu. And that's why he was able to see Narasimha Dev, not the hunter, not the sage. There are so many pastimes like this, where a person who actually has tremendous faith in a sadhu, he will be, or scriptural instruction, he will be able to see the Lord. But that person who knows a lot, because he has that pride or he has that envy, he is not able to see the Lord himself. Many pastimes like this, maybe in future we will discuss. So when it comes to compassionate people, ignorant people, we be compassionate. Like when Prabhupada was in Juhu, when Juhu temple was being built, That time the owner of the temple, the land, he wanted to actually take the land also and take the money also. Is he compassionate? Is he ignorant or is he envious? Prabhupada went to Africa for the first time to preach. And then naturally Africa is a little more poorer than India also. So there he went, he did kirtan evening, and his servant, he gave his servant to wash the clothes. So dhoti kurta were washed, kept for drying. Next morning they go, it's all missing. So someone stole dhoti kurta, uttari, everything. Then the disciple had to somehow find some other alternative, and then istri karke okay. He gave to Prabhupada. Prabhupada sat on the morning class. In the audience, one person is wearing the dhoti, one person is wearing the kurta, the third person is wearing uttari. And then Prabhupada begins the Bhagavatam class by saying, it is not good to steal clothes of your spiritual master. Right. So although, see here, Mr. N wanted to steal the property of Krishna. These guys stole the property of Prabhupada. But you see the difference in the interaction, because he's envious and there is this ignorant guy. Similarly, when one of the temples in the West, Europe actually, one devotee thought, actually I want some Mahaprasad from Prabhupada. But not Mahaprasad like food. I want some Mahaprasad which I can keep with me. He thought, what if I can get Prabhupada's slippers, footwear? What can be better Mahaprasad than that? So he made an elaborate plan. He thought Prabhupada is here for 1 week, and every day he studied Prabhupada's movements. So Prabhupada comes translating his Zoom only most of the time, comes out for Mangalarti at 4 o'clock, and he goes back after Darshanarti, and then comes back after half an hour. And when he comes, there is a particular, because in temple we don't wear slippers. He leaves his footwear outside at the temple entrance and then he goes inside. And that is the moment I will do the heist. So that is the chappal heist, prasadam heist, Mahaprasadam. But then if he steals that, and Prabhupada comes, he has to go without footwear. No? So what he does, he observes the size of the footwear, the quality, which type of footwear, and then he goes to a shop and buys exact replica of it. And then what he wants to do, he wanted to replace. So Prabhupada will get his footwear also, and I will get, and then he does a brand new footwear anyway. So Prabhupada will not know the difference. So he does that. Prabhupada comes down, and then Prabhupada goes inside, and then he goes, replaces the slipper, and takes that chappal in his locker room. He did that heist, but he knows he did something wrong, something not proper. He was afraid of what if he get caught, what will Prabhupada say. So then he was scared. Then Prabhupada comes out after the class, after prasad. He wears the footwear and he goes to his room with his disciple, the secretary and everything. And he feels sure, nothing happened. Then suddenly the door opens and disciple comes and says, Prabhupada told me to give you this. So he opens the chit. He says, thank you very much for the new pair of chappal. Again he says, it is not right to steal from your spiritual master. Right. So similarly, so this is with respect to ignorant people. But when it comes to envious people, there is an instance where in Russia, devotees were doing a lot of preaching, but then it was a communist government, and they were very anti-religious. So there was one devotee who was actually put in jail because he had a Prabhupada book. Can you imagine? Right. So here we take it for so much granted. We keep it as it is actually, we never open the cover also. But there they actually, if you are caught with Bhagavad Gita, you are in jail. So his wife and child, they were actually left, they were dependent on that Prabhu. Right? So they appealed again, but the court is completely rigged. The whole, there is no concept of equality of law or whatever. So the Mataji, she was so hurt, so much in pain, she cursed the judge. And imagine what is the curse of a devotee. You never imagine that devotees cursing. In Bhagavatam also we see that, Ambarish Maharaj accepted. This Mataji cursed. What is the curse? You hate devotees, I curse you that in your family there will be one devotee. Like Hiranyakashipu had Prahlad Maharaj. So this judge, he was thinking that, no, I need to please my boss even more. So let me make some sort of a judgment by which anyone who is a part of ISKCON movement or their family members, even the distant relatives, will be put in jail. So he thought, but I need a strong case for that. I cannot just pass a judgment like that. So he thought, how to know? So he thought, let me actually try to find some big flaws in their philosophy, which is anti-communist. So he bought the Bhagavatam And he thought, let me read this thoroughly so that I'll find some issues with this and then put devotees, everyone behind the bars. He took the book and then he was starting reading it. See, he is reading it, but his intention is to find flaws with it. And because it's a very thick book, he kept it in the study room. He was a judge, so he had a big study room. His son comes. And there was no smartphone, no internet. This is Soviet Union. That time there was no disco, nothing. So his son comes and he wants to read something and he sees that Bhagavatam. He takes the book. Father comes. Hey, who will read that book? Get up! He scolds him. Who will dare touch that book? Now a teenager, if you tell him not to do something, and especially if he knows that will enrage the parents, definitely he's going to do it. So he comes in the night, takes a torch, takes that book, reads the book for 2 weeks, joins the Hare Krishna. And now if the judge passes the law, what he wanted to do, not only his son will go to jail, he also needs to go to jail. Because distant relatives also are in Hare Krishna. Right. So this is the combination of ignorant and envious. So we need to observe in our life, in our office, there may be people who are envious. Little bit talking about Krishna, they become like very angry, aggressive. And there may be people who are ignorant. They may not know they are interested. So then you try to give them Krishna consciousness. Okay, I've just done one part of it. Okay, we'll do it fast now. So jivas, who are the different type of jivas? One are devotees, demigods, guru, and faithless. Now coming to Shastra. Now when you come to Shastra, see, first you have to understand scriptures. What is the relationship with scriptures? Scriptures are created so that it can give us facility for two things. First is, we have some animal desires. What are the animalistic desires everyone has? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Right? So one devotee was telling me, after coming to ISKCON, it is meeting, and meeting. There's so much meetings happening. So conditioned soul cannot revive the consciousness on his own. So what Vedas do? Okay, you have your eating, sleeping, mating, defending. I will give you a system by which you can do this, no doubt about it. At the same time, you need to purify your heart also. So Vedas actually deal with our desires. They give us a combination. But unfortunately, when those Vedic scriptures are seen out of context, it's like going to a pharmacy and saying, that is a blue, I like the blue color medicine, give me. So randomly you cannot take any medicines. You will definitely get side effects. So when you approach scriptures without a guru or sadhu, then you will see the side effects of it. And then when you see the side effects, then you say, oh, this medicine, the whole concept of medicine itself is useless. And that's what people are doing now, burning Manu Samhita, Manusmriti. There are people like that. Right? And they see that, oh, in your scriptures there is mention of eating meat also. What is this? Right. So if you see, it is not buying meat is not like eating meat is not like going in shop and buying the meat. You are supposed to catch the animal. Plus it should be on the Amavasya night. So you catch your own animal, you kill that animal in a specific way. Before killing it, you have to say Mam Saha. Mam Saha means not only flesh, it means in this life I am killing you so that I can eat you. In next life I give you permission, you can do the same to me. And then you kill that animal, and then even in Islam also there is a principle that 7 pieces you need to make of that whatever you have done. 6 you need to give in charity, 1 is for you. So that is actually the proper process. Why? In the process, as you keep doing it repeatedly, because there is some Om, some mantra in that mantras also, whatever you are chanting, slowly consciousness rises, and one fine day you will say, what am I saying? I am eating the flesh, so in next life he can kill me. I don't think that is worth it. So it's too expensive a price. So then he'll give up the habit of eating meat. That is the principle of the scriptures. Without understanding this, if you just read it and then you offend it, that is also an offense to the holy name. So not only those 5 jivas, scriptures also, if you bluntly offend them, blaspheme the scriptures, that is also an offense. Achha, then we have those people who have desires and want to legally fulfill their desires, they follow rituals in the scriptures. They are yajnas basically. Mrityunjaya Mahamandra Yajna or 16 Somvar, 18 Shukra, whatever is there. So people follow all of those principles so that they will get some spiritual benefit. So we need to respect the scriptures. At the same time, not everything mentioned in the scripture is also equal to the holy name. That clarity we need to have. Like in Seattle, so and actually Seattle is a place where a lot of Indians are settled there, especially Microsoft and such companies. So one of our South Indian person, he went there, stayed in Seattle, and he saw that generally when you go to abroad, we want to find out people from your place. Okay, ISKCON temple, Hare Krishna, nice. Although many of them are Westerners, but good. So he used to go to ISKCON temple, but he was very strongly rooted in his South Indian background. For him, rituals were very strong. Right? Temple should have Gopuram. Where is Garuda Stambha? Right? And where is the Ganti? In ISKCON temple, you don't have the bell. No? Most temples are. Nowadays, in big temples, they have made the policy, otherwise people will not appreciate it as temple. But why have you removed that Ganti in ISKCON? So when class is going on, people should not bang it and disturb the whole class. One person was asked, one devotee, I was in the class actually. When Prabhuji was telling, why do we have temples in the first? Why do we have bells in a temple in the first place? So one person said, to wake up the Lord. Actually, the purpose is to wake us ourselves. Our mind will be wandering. When you hit the bell, we are telling the mind, away, you are in temple now, focus on the. Anyway, so this person, he comes to ISKCON temple and he always has some, he respects devotees, but never fully agrees with them. He says that, hey, why are you wearing chappal and chanting? The holy name, you should sit and. So he came to devotees and said, actually I want to do a yajna in my home. So can you come and do yajna? He said, why not? Sankirtan, ours is ultimate. So devotees went to Pradakam Kartal and they are doing kirtan. He said, okay, when are you starting the actual yajna? He said, this is the ultimate yajna. He said, no, I want the proper yajna kunda, fire should be there and the flame, ice should be burning. That is until that water comes from ice, you don't feel like yajna. So that we don't do. But we'll try to find out someone. So then somehow they found one Purohit there. That person came and he was lit all the place, and the devotees also were there. They were doing kirtan in the background. He did the yajna. The flame also came, but then that owner he was in the house. So the owner forgot to turn off the fire alarm. So when the smoke came, there was fire alarm and there was water everywhere, all the rooms of the house. And that he was very upset. He said, what is this? About one yajna I wanted to do, that also didn't happen properly. So seeing him upset, our devotees went to him and said, Prabhuji, what happened? Why are you so upset? So much I tried and it didn't work out. Then our devotees are always pragmatic. He said, scriptures mention that the proof that yajna is successful is dates. Congratulations. Krishna has blessed your yajna, whatever little performance you have done. Right. Similarly, when Prabhupada was in Madras, South India, when he came, so Prabhupada came with his disciples, dancing white elephants is what they call it. And they were doing kirtan and everything. They should even pronounce shlokas. So one South Indian person came, one very old scholar, and said, Swamiji, your disciples are awesome. Shevanade, Kruti Kirtan. But when they recite the shlokas, their pronunciation is not. So people have that katakta, and you forget about that. Even we know one college in Bangalore, there is a cultural in charge who is supposed to give us permission to do preaching. He has some problem with ISKCON. And somehow devotees called me to go and give the class there. And generally when we go to preaching programs, what we taught is clean shave and Kantimala we make one. Because these are the symptoms of identify Hare Krishna devotee. So after the session they said, why did you clean shave? So I was shocked. For the first time devotees are telling me, why did you clean shave? He said, no, he will understand that you are ISKCON. Should have keep little beard, you should keep. And you can make Kantimala. And one more thing. Whenever you are saying Krishna and Arjuna, you should say Arjun. Krishna, not Arjuna, not Krishna. Because that person knows ISKCON devotees say Hare Krishna and Arjuna like that. Right? So those are the subtleties which people catch. So this scholar came to Prabhupada and said, pronunciation is not right. Prabhupada said, actually you are right. And they are just starting their spiritual life. Can you please come and teach them pronunciation? You can stay with us in temple, we will provide you prasad and everything, but one condition. You can't drink tea and coffee when you're staying with us. And tea and coffee for Madrasi is what is it? Shunya itam jagat sarvam. He said, Swamiji, the pronunciation is not that bad also. Then Prabhupada tells, the pronunciation may not be right, but the renunciation is perfect. This is Prabhupada's understanding. So, if someone tries to fulfill their desire through scriptures, they'll follow rituals. Right? And many times when such people hear the holy name, the glories of the holy name, they may feel, oh, okay, I can do yajna for fulfilling my desires. I can use Hare Krishna to fulfill my desires. That is also an offense. To use holy name to fulfill our desire is actually a offense. Now somebody may say, Prabhuji, but I have that strong desire, what to do? Scripture say, Akama sarva kama moksha kama udaradi, tevrena bhakti yogena jayata purusha param. Whatever desires you have, you continue. But over a period of time, if we are still holding on to it, if we still are using the holy name, or if someone comes and tells, we're chanting Hare Krishna from 3 years, so your disease is not gone, Okay, now you chant this Mahamrityunjaya mantra. So then you drop Hare Krishna and then you take, that is the challenge. That is an offense. To see holy name as something that you can use for your benefit and then throw it away when it's not working. Another way of fulfilling our desire is through sins. We don't care for scriptures. So someone may say that, I want to fulfill my desires however I want to do, like just do it. Whenever I want, however I don't care for scriptures. And then such people, they will try to whitewash their sins through spiritual activities. Go to Mahakumbh. 45 crore people went down. Right? Just deposit all your sins there. Right? Or you give some charity. Get rid of your past karma. I've heard whenever we go to temple and chappal chori ho gaya, then they say that your karma that guy took your karma, bad karma away. So in Christianity also there is this concept called indulgences. That is the main reason why Christianity had a difficult time and Renaissance started in Europe. What is this concept of indulgences? You commit some sin according to Christian principles. You are guilty. You go to the church and they say that I have committed this. There is a confession box. There is a father on the other side. I committed these sins. And generally confession is supposed to make you, the idea of confession is that you confessed it, you lightened your heart, now don't do it again. But then the church started to monetize on it. They said that we will sell something called as indulgences. Indulgence means, okay, you committed some sin, you came to church, you paid this much amount of money, and I gave you this. This is a proof that you are no longer sinful. That sinful reaction is gone. So a person comes to the church and tells the padri, the father, that I committed intoxication, illicit sex, gambling. And he says, oh, 3 sins, $30. $30. He gives $30 and he gives 3 indulgences. Next week again he comes, same thing, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, oh, $30. Next week again he comes, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, $30. He gives $60. So why $60? Next week I am out of town. So I am paying now in advance. Right, so we are using the holy name to clean our sins. To just unburden our heart. That okay, I paid the price. I like to enjoy also, I pay the price. Similarly, this same concept can happen in our spiritual life also. On class, when Brahmachari was giving, the topic of the class was who is our favorite character from Bhagavatam. Someone said Parikshit Maharaj, someone said Śukadeva Gosvāmī, someone said. And one person didn't say anything. After the class, he came to Prabhuji and said, actually, my hero is Ajamila. He said, what kind of a role model have you chosen? For people, Ajamila. He said, after purification or before purification? No, Prabhuji, whole Ajamila. Why? He said, Ajamila is a person who enjoyed in this life also and went back to God also. So, zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi. So, if you see, there are things to clarify here. Ajamila did not go back to Godhead just because he chanted the holy name through the sun's name. He got a second chance. And unfortunately, many times that is not emphasized enough. That 12 years what he did after he got that darshan of Vishnu Dutas, he did tremendous amount of tapasya. He had to wash all the 88 years of sinful, okay, at least he was, in childhood he was having some spiritual background, but 30-50 years of impressions he had to wash for the 12 years. And then he went back to Godhead. Second, sometimes scriptures may speak extreme examples. Like, Chaitanya Charitamrita says there was a Muslim, he was in the forest, one wild pig came and attacked him. And it hit him so hard, he died. But before dying, he said haram, because it's dirty for Muslims. So because haram contains Ram, he got liberation. So then, especially if you see when we are preaching in a city like Bangalore, especially youth preaching, they say, Prabhuji, then there are so many times we say 12 GB RAM, 13 GB RAM, and so are we getting purified in the process. So, the purpose of giving such extreme examples is that to establish the standards. Which means imagine if Ajamila indirectly chanted the name of Lord Narayan through the sun's name, this much benefit he got. Imagine you who are consciously chanting, knowing the purpose, giving exclusive time, taking the trouble, you are giving up all the other things which you could have done in that 2 hours and you are focusing, how much more benefit will you get? So that is the main purpose, not to make the exception as the standard, but to emphasize the existing standard. And we have example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when after delivering Jagai Madai, that evening in Harinam Sankirtan, when they were doing in Sheva Sangan, there was Jagai Madai also in the association. And Kirtan was going on, and then Kirtan reached a crescendo. Mahaprabhu from Gaur Sundar became Shyam Sundar. His body became black. And Advaita said, you look like Shyam Sundar now. And they keep doing kirtan. So then they did kirtan, then eventually again that black became golden. And then Mahaprabhu said, so what you saw that black was, actually I was absorbing the sinful reactions of Jagai and Madai. And now whoever offends devotees, it will go to them. So that is the principle which he gave. So that, okay, you committed whatever sinful reactions in the past, but now once you're taken to spiritual life, no more. Stop it right there. That is the principle. But if again, we are not sincere enough, we are trying to, like one person was asking me, that can I smoke and chant? Hare Krishna. So I told him that you cannot chant and smoke, but you can, through chanting you can give up smoking. Right. And of course I don't have personal example of personal experience of that, but I have seen many of the devotees, recently one devotee was telling me that when they were doing Gita class in Gita course in one college, one boy asked in the class that what is wrong with alcohol? I drink every day. Right. Then I asked who is that person? He said, no, I can't tell you the name. Why? He's 1600 devotee now, staying in the voice. So I don't want to spoil his name. So like that is the second part. Shastra, our relationship with Shastra. First of all, we don't blaspheme the scriptures. At the same time, we don't take the prescriptions given in the scripture and equate it to the holy name, like fruitive activities to holy name, karma kanda to holy name. At the same time, we don't use holy name to whitewash our sins. That brings us to the last part. I'll just quickly finish in the next 10 minutes. Our relationship with our buddhi, our own intelligence. Sometimes, if we have too much faith in our own intelligence, and then when we hear a traditionalist, a person who's from South Indian, I'll give an example here, someone who's very strong South Indian background, and he has been brought up where his parents, his grandparents, they all are treating liberation as ultimate. And he's seeing that mukti is the greatest. And then you come to ISKCON and then you hear that liberation is a byproduct when you chant Hare Krishna. That becomes like very difficult to digest. Okay, what are you saying? Liberation is ultimate. And you people are treating it like some trash. It's like secondary benefit. So in such cases, a person may think, these glories are imagination. It's too much imagination. And if suppose someone has no traditional background, he has scientific so-called modern background, and he sees that chanting is actually making good benefit in my life, then he will say, he'll come up with an interpretation. Like Allen Ginsberg, one of the person was there that time, he said, when you chant Hare Krishna, your body consumes more oxygen. So because of that you feel better. Endorphin, dopamine and oxytocin are released, because of which you feel better. That is also an offense to the holy name. To give interpretations, mundane interpretations, and to consider the glories of the holy name as imagination. I think I don't know if I mentioned this before. One of our devotees was preaching in US, and there he met one boy. The boy came and said that, actually I am an atheist. Oh, yes, why are you? What's the issue? He said, when I was a small boy, 5-year-old, my parents died in a car accident, both of them. And they both were very strong Catholic Christians. And I was so hurt that how can God do something like this? Then Prabhuji said, okay, I understand that, but you seem to be in a prestigious Ivy League institute. How did you end up here? He said, actually I was in foster homes for 2-3 years. Then when I was 11 years old, someone adopted me. They were not devotees, they were not spiritual, but they were very righteous. And they took a commitment that we will give highest possible education to our children. So because of them, because they were so great, they were so amazing, because of which I was able to come into this institute. I was lucky, he said. Then our Prabhuji said, why are you being partial to God? When something wrong happened, God did it. When something good happened, my luck. Either ascribe both to luck or ascribe both to God. Right? So similarly here, rather than giving our own interpretation or considering things to be imaginary, we have to actually respect the glories as it is mentioned in the scriptures. And the last one is, despite hearing so much glories, taking so much prasad, still there may be some lack of conviction. We may not have full faith in the holy names. Like in Australia, there was only one brahmachari who was actually doing deity worship for 10 years. And for whatever reason, he was feeling that, I'm not happy enough yet here. Because spiritual life is like, in Bible it is said, midnight of the soul. Which means the sun has set at 6 o'clock in the night. Sun will rise in the morning at 6 o'clock. You are at 12 o'clock right now. Sun's gratification we have heard enough. there is not much joy in that now. Right? Even if you are watching something, cricket or something, your mind is constantly, intelligence is constantly screaming, what is this useless, hitting a ball, 11 people running behind it, what is the goal of life, what is constantly mind is giving commentary, intelligence is in commentary, you can't enjoy that also properly. And similarly, Krishna Prem is yet to come, love of God. So we are in between right now. Right? Na ghar ka na ghat ka, as they say. So one such brahmachari was feeling like that, he said, I am done. So he put the deities to rest at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, said, I am going. And whatever we have been doing before coming to spiritual life, our mind goes back there. So he was a surfer. So he changed his clothes and then he wore shorts or whatever and then ran to a surfing board and jumped into water, sea there. And because 10 years he had not done it, he was doing it full energy. He was so much enjoying it, he went so far from the land, he reached a stage where he realized there is no one around now. And then suddenly he realized, shark is coming in his direction. And he was so scared now. And he is very far, there is no one else, the shore is very far. Now what to do? He doesn't know what to do. And shark is coming towards the direction. And suddenly his training came into picture. He started Samsara Dava and Lila Loka and he completed that. Narsimha Arti got over, Tulsi Arti also over, Gaur Arti also over. And finally he said that Radha Madhav, the deity is there. He said, Radha Madhav, if you save me today, I straight come back to your lotus feet. And the shark came bypassed him and went. And then he came back, full speed, the same speed he went, full speed he went back, changed clothes. So 1 o'clock he left, he came back by 4 o'clock. Temple visit asked, where were you? I was searching for you. He said, I went to get some realization. So despite hearing so much, there may be possibilities. And it's very beautifully put by this one person. He said, the whole problem with the world is, fools are very confident. Wise people are doubtful. Right? Those who are like foolish, those who have half knowledge, they are very confident to make YouTube videos, strongly speak. Those who know, they are like, I am not very sure about what I am. Out of humility or whatever you want to call it. Like in this is the last, hopefully this is the last pastime. It's already 9:45. So in scriptures there is an example of Arjunacharya. So he was a Brahmana, very poor, great devotee also. He was reading Bhagavad Gita every day and he was a proper Brahmana in the sense, no salary, no job. He would go, beg alms, come back and then whatever he get, he cook. He has a wife also. So he one day was reading Bhagavad Gita, he came across this verse. He says that, what is that verse? Yogakshemam vahami. Tesham ananyashintayantam mam yajana paripasa tesham yuktanam yogakshemam vahami. I personally provide for my devotees. So after reading that, Arjunacharya said, I don't think that is. I mean, come on. Personally Krishna comes and provides. I think there is a mistake here. So he takes a pen, he strikes that verse, closes it, and he says, tells her, I'm going to get the alms, beg alms. He said, okay. He goes, and after some time, suddenly there's a knock on the door. So the wife, she says, who's there? So, their condition was what? They didn't have proper clothes also. He had one dhoti, right, and one uttari, that's it. So he would give his dhoti, he would wear uttari, like a lungi, and he would give his dhoti to his wife, and she would wear it as a sari. So now he is going out, he needs both the dhoti and uttari, so she is actually not wearing any clothes. She says, who's there? Then two boys, they say that actually Arjunacharya, our guru, has sent us. So then she finds some, then that boys, they give their uttari, and she wears clothes and everything, and then she says, what is this? No, Arjunacharya has sent actually giving a lot of groceries in their hands. Actually they have a big rod, on both sides they are hanging, and then a lot of groceries are hanging, they keep there. And they say, such a cute, two boys were there, one white and one blue. Such cute boys, and so sweet. She wanted to actually give them some sweet or something. And suddenly she sees on their back there are marks. She becomes so angry. She says, what happened to this? He said, yeah, Guruji beat us because we were not obedient to him. And then she feeds them nicely and then says, no, immediately you have to go. Guruji comes and again he will beat us. And they run away. And then Arjunacharya comes. And that day he did not get anything, no alms. So he came back and then he came to house and then wife is in full Bhadrakali mode. She says, how dare you, what can I do? You don't have heart. How can you? What did I do? I didn't do anything. And then two boys came, he sent all these groceries to him. Then suddenly it clicks to him. What? They brought groceries. Two boys. What are their, how did they look like? They were very cute and one was white, one was blue. So then he thought maybe this is Krishna Balram, who came as two boys. Then immediately goes and opens the Bhagavad Gita. The cut mark he did is not there. So where did the cut mark go? on Krishna's back, Krishna Balaram's back. Then he understands that Krishna personally provides. So this is the part where our faith comes into picture, our conviction basically. And we don't have to go so much in the history also. We have example of Prabhupada. 0 facilities from his spiritual master. All he had was holy name, Bhagavatam. In fact, he said that Bhagavatam is going to the west, I am going as an assistant. That's a parasana, right? So that is the whole discussion. These are the things which actually can affect our chanting. Although you might have been expecting art of chanting means Prabhuji sit straight, pronunciation should be right, focus, don't eat in the night before so that you will not feel sleepy. All that are the techniques. But these are actually the principles which actually can impact our chanting. And these 10 things which we discussed are actually nothing but the 10 references to the holy names. So let's recite all of this one by one together. To blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their lives to propagating the holy names of the Lord. To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of the Lord Vishnu. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. To give some interpretations to the holy names of the Lord. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. These are the 10. But there is one more. So if this is a tree with all of these offenses, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must carefully guard against all these offenses in order to quickly achieve Krishna prema. That image that you see on the bottom, that has been created by Sora. Who's Sora? So ChatGPT has launched a new image making. So I went there and I went to type Hare Krishna devotee sitting in the city and chanting. We made one image. Then I said no, he's distracted by mobile phone. Okay, one more. So anyway, coming back to the discussion. So this is what the whole discussion is about. These 10 offenses. I hope now we'll be able to remember these images and pastimes also. Because this in every ISKCON temple, we are a center right now. In every ISKCON temple, these 10 offenses are actually chanted, recited every single day. So, but whatever I've spoken is just the surface. There's so much to discuss, and that's what the future classes, Vyasacharya Guru, Raja Krishna Guru will do. And as I said, the more we hear, the more we will be tested in the future. One who speaks too much will be tested more. And first, so I request blessings of all the devotees here to give me strength to remember these things when I will be tested. When I will come across faithless people, when I come across my spiritual master, when I come in the association of devotees, when I read scriptures, when I have my desires and there are some long, strong conditionings that come in my life, I should be able to remember this. Now coming to the quiz. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes.
The last part. The same purport if we revisit. Now I'll ask you, you tell me which is the relationship we are talking about here. Okay? First offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. Relationship with Jiva. Second offense is to see the holy name of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all universe and therefore he may be known in different places and different names. But that does not qualify the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others because they are all meant to the Lord. Such holy names are powerful as the Lord and there is no bar for anyone of any part of creation to chant and glorify the Lord, particularly the name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. This is third offense is to neglect the orders of the authorities of acharyas and spiritual master. Jiva, spiritual master. Fourth offense is to vilify the scriptures or the Vedic knowledge. Relationship with fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation. Holy name of the Lord is identical to the Lord himself and one should understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. This is sixth offense is interpret the holy names. Buddhi again. Lord is not imaginary nor is his holy name. There are persons with poor fund of knowledge who think the Lord to be the imagination of worshipper. One of my friends used to tell me, actually man has created God. so that there can be some stability in the world. I thought it is my friend's foolishness, but then I realized there is literally a huge community outside which actually believe that. Such a chanter of the name of the Lord cannot achieve the desired success in the matter of chanting the holy name. Seventh offense, commit sins intentionally, which is this, our relationship with scriptures. In that scriptures we see sins. Eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord and his chanting method to be equal to some material, auspicious activity, ritualistic ceremonies. Our relationship with scriptures, Shastras. Ninth offense is to instruct those who are not interested in the holy names of the Lord. Who are these? Jivas, that is the faithless. Ninth offense. 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord even after hearing of the transcendental nature of the holy name. Effect of chanting of the holy name of the Lord is perceived by chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is accepted by thinking oneself as enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for I and mine. The whole materialistic world is moving under the principle of I and mine, but the factual effect of the chanting of the holy name becomes free from such misconception. Which is this 10th offense? That is to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names even after hearing. So there is the devotees say so many instructions, we hear so many instructions of the Lord. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Gopal ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You can bring for prasadam, it's already late.